Welcome to GameSack.
In this episode, we're going to compare some games that have different versions across several different platforms.
Ooh, dare we?
Oh, we dare.
Alright, well, what games are we comparing today?
Well, first up, we're going to look at Blackthorne. It's made by a company called Blizzard, and it's probably the best game they ever made. In fact, I don't think they made any games after Blackthorne because they saw Blackthorne, they knew it was good, and they just all quit and went home.
Dude, that is so wrong, because you know what? They made a hugely popular game that everybody except for you and me played.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm very sure about that, yeah.
Oh yeah. Justice League Task Force for the Super Nintendo. That's right, they did make that. Anyway, let's check out some Blackthorne. This is Blackthorne on the Super Nintendo. In fact, it was my first experience ever with Blackthorne. I know it's on DOS and on the Mac, but I never played those versions. And to me, it's like a Prince of Persia game, only really dark and gritty with super long levels.
First playing this game, I was like, all right, man, Prince of Persia game. And then I saw the character, I was like, man, this totally looks like aliens took the crowd from a 90s hairband concert and made them slaves in their mind, which I was like, hey, that's cool, because I totally like 90s hairband.
This game also features a password save for your convenience. Later on, Interplay decided to release Blackthorne on everybody's favorite Sega system, the 32X. Now this game has a higher horizontal resolution than the Super Nintendo version because everything is scrunched over to the left in order to fit that new bar over on the right side of the screen. And that makes everything look a little thinner than the Super Nintendo version if you're used to that. But it does also make it a little bit more faithful to the computer versions. And another thing about this game is it has actual blood in it when you shoot people. Oh my goodness.
Wow, actual blood?
Real blood in the game.
Wow, that's awesome. You know, and it's a good thing that they really didn't change anything besides just the way the screen looked, because the gameplay in this game was good enough as it was and deserved not to be changed.
Exactly. It's a fantastic game here as well, and there's not a whole lot of difference. The music sounds a little bit different, but it's still very, very good. And like the Super Nintendo version, this also features a password save. And a long time later, they finally came out with Blackthorne for the Game Boy Advance. Now this is very bright compared to the Super Nintendo and 32X versions. Why do you think that is?
You know, just a guess is that back then the Game Boy Advance did not have a backlit screen, so they made it as bright as possible so you could see it just as well as, you know, if it did have a backlit screen.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Has similar music and sound to the 32X version, but maybe a little bit more scratchy. And there is an option to scroll the screen around a bit to make for the cropped image size due to the lower screen resolution and all that crap.
Yeah, and if you need Blackthorne on the go, this is your only option, so.
And it's also the only version of Blackthorne that has a battery backup, no passwords at all. All right, and that's the console versions of Blackthorne for you. Which one was your favorite, Dave?
I think I like the Super Nintendo version best, obviously because it's on the Super Nintendo. And secondly, I would have bought the 32X version, but I could not find a 32X anywhere. They were sold out all across Colorado.
Yeah, they were pretty popular. And as for my favorite, I think I like the 32X version pretty much because that's the only version I have ever owned. Of course, I've played the other two versions, but I only owned the 32X version.
You were so lucky to get a 32X at that time.
I know.
You must have waited in long lines.
So we got more games that we're going to dare to compare.
Yeah, and what are we comparing next?
Batman. Now, of course, we can't compare every Batman game that's ever been made, so we're going to focus on the ones that are based on the 1989 movie with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson.
That sounds good. What about Batman Returns?
Was Batman Returns made in 1989? Did it have Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson in it?
1989 was really fuzzy for me, but I guess not. I don't know.
Then we're not covering it in this episode, so let's get to it. This is Batman for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now this game's pretty cool. It has selectable weapons, you can do a wall bounce, jump thing, and you can go up, down, and all around. When you look at the graphics, you immediately think of the 1989 movie. I mean, I can't even tell if I'm playing the game or watching the movie.
Hey look, is that Jack Nicholson?
Must be, or one of his cronies. I think they filmed a live actor in front of a green screen or something.
Oh, totally, you know.
But this is a really tough game. In fact, I think it's the hardest Batman game of the ones we're looking at today.
Oh yeah, definitely this is tough. But you know what? This is what the NES was all about, man. No wimps need to apply here.
Well, I'm going to have to agree with that. And the music is really good. It's original. It has nothing to do with the music from the movie. But like I said, it's really good.
I agree. Good music.
And overall, I'd say this is a really fun game. And this is Batman for the Game Boy, and strangely it's in black and white because of some stupid system limitation. And why is he shooting everybody? That's not Batman style.
Well, of course not. You know, it's black and white because that's the Game Boy. It's actually gray, but... And it's really should be called Batman because, yeah, Batman didn't have a pistol and shoot everybody that he's taught, you know, immediately, but...
Yeah, what's up with that? But still, it's a pretty good game, don't you think?
Oh, I agree. It's totally a fun game. It's kind of a mix of, like, Mario Brothers side-scrolling with platforming, and there's some side-scrolling shooter levels in there. You're flying the Batwing, and it's good.
Yeah, you know, I remember seeing this game for the first time at the Nintendo Power Fest when it came to Denver, and I remember when you started the stage, the screen flipped open, kind of like the screen flipping in Sega's Castle of Illusion, and I was just totally amazed that the Game Boy could even do that.
Yeah, you're like, dude, is this Nintendo? And I was like, yes, it is.
Yep. This is Batman for the Sega Genesis. Now this game wasn't able to be released in the US for a long time due to the contract Sunsoft had with Nintendo, but it finally came out. And it's its own unique side-scrolling game, and it's different from the NES version.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I mean, not only graphically, but playstyle.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it has weird-ass sounds when you punch and kick enemies. Just listen to that.
Yeah, it's like pushing air or something.
Now this game begins with a giant wall of text explaining the story, just in case you missed a movie. Ooh, look, it's Vicky Vale. Man, she looks nude.
Yeah, can we pause that?
This game had fantastic original music not heard in any other Batman game. I just love cranking this one up.
Oh, me too, man. That is some really good stuff.
This game also has some side-scrolling driving and flying stages that kind of play like a shooter, but you're just so huge it's hard to avoid enemy projectiles and stuff like that. And I'd say this is a fairly easy game until the last level, but personally, I like it more than the NES version anyway. Here we have Batman for the PC Engine. It was never released in the US for the TurboGrafx 16. I've got to say, Sunsoft must have hated the PC Engine. It really shows in this overhead game. Here we have Batman cleaning up the streets, and we mean literally. You've got to pick up trash in the streets and even clean paintings in the museum.
I would never have bought this if it came to the US. I mean, who really wants to play a sim game about cleaning up trash in the street and cleaning paintings? I mean, I couldn't even keep my room clean in high school.
Well, maybe people who bought Global Gladiators would appreciate keeping the earth clean. I don't like how he's paralyzed when he throws his batarangs. You can't do anything, he just stands there. What the hell? But otherwise, it has pretty detailed graphics. The characters are kind of short and squabby looking. I really don't like the way they look. And it has great music, and NES players will even recognize some of it.
You know, Joe, out of the 4 Batman games here, yeah, this is probably the least fun to play, but you know what? It really isn't that bad. You can do a lot worse.
I agree, but still, I'd rather play a side-scrolling platform game like the one Sunsoft was originally designing for the PC Engine. Look at these pictures of the original Batman game they were working on. Now, for whatever reason we can't understand, they trashed this in lieu of the overhead concept that we finally got, so thanks, Sunsoft.
Yeah, I'm sure that guy got fired.
He better have. This is the Batman arcade game by Atari. It has big, fairly detailed graphics, lots of stuff going on there. It has gameplay vaguely similar to the Genesis version. You can use your grappling hook and stuff. And look at this, Batman can't even go up these stairs. Batman's not very powerful here, I guess. And the music is based on the movie soundtrack, and there are lots of voice clips.
What are you? I'm Batman.
I definitely wouldn't waste my $5 allowance on this game, maybe 75 cents or $1 at most, because the game is okay at best. It does have some decent graphics and some cool background stuff going on, but other than that, the music kind of ruins it. The sound effects are definitely lifted from other Atari games, so save your quarters and play something else.
Wait till they get a load of me.
And those are the games based on the 1989 Batman movie for you. Oh man, Dave, you wouldn't believe it. I saw this at the theater. I had like a 432-ounce Coke with me, and I had to pee so bad by the time that was over, you just would not believe it.
That's a really awesome story, Joe, and I really would like to hear the end of it someday. But in the meantime, I'm going to let you know that my favorite version of this game is the Game Boy version, and it's going to be to the dismay of a lot of people out there, but it's true. If you just give it a shot, you're going to like it. The Game Boy version has some really solid action in it, really smooth scrolling for the Game Boy, and awesome music to boot. Joe?
You done? Good. Thank you. My favorite version was a Genesis version of Batman because of its overall awesomeness. It has great music too, by the way. But it's so awesome that it makes me want to be Batman. And man, I wish my parents were killed when I was young so I could have grown up to be a crime-fighting vigilante. God damn it.
Well, I could kill them now if you like.
You must be Catwoman. I'm Batman.
Yeah, Joe, I'm gonna go home now. I'll see you later, alright?